Awesome. Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Northside Independent School District Gifted and Talented Enrichment Advisory Council. My name is Danny Lopez, and I am the president of the organization. For those of you who are new to our meetings, I usually like to start off by reading the mission statement for our group. The mission of the Gifted and Talented Enrichment Advisory Council is to enhance the opportunities and experiences of students in Northside ISD by identifying and recommending improvements for the district's Gifted and Talented program, by expanding public opinion and awareness through communications, and by providing funds for grants and specialized GT projects. So again, welcome. This is the forum with which we all come together to support the GT program within Northside. And this evening we have some guest speakers for y'all. That's going to be very good. So thank you for spending some time with us. I'm going to turn it over to Roxanne Brown, who will introduce our guest. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We're really glad you're here tonight. We've got two great speakers, and I think you will really enjoy what they have to talk about tonight. So tonight we're talking about how to enhance play with our gifted students. So our two speakers tonight are Barbara Triplett and Audrey Reck. And I may get their titles wrong, so they can correct me if I'm wrong. Barbara is an early childhood specialist, and I believe Audrey's title is Early Childhood Preschool Program Coordinator. So Barbara has been in Northside for 30 years. She's a mom of three children with very different needs, and she has experienced the educational landscape of both gifted education and special education as an educator and parent. She advocates for the support of the students' individual gifts, interests, and needs, while placing a high value on inclusive supports for all children through her professional and parental lens. She believes and takes action to support the major role that the environment plays in the success of an early childhood program. Audrey serves as an educator and lifelong learner in Northside. She's a fierce advocate for play and worksheet-free learning. I think we all love that. She has dedicated her career to serving all exceptional learners. Play is a strong tool for the learning of young children, and Audrey's pedagogy surrounds this important idea. So these two ladies are going to be our speakers tonight, and I'm going to turn the program over to them.
Thank you so much for letting us be a part tonight. We're super excited to share a little bit about our world and how play can make your world and the world of your children better. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. All right. So tonight we're talking about play-based learning for gifted students and how you as parents can advocate and support that self-directed learning, thinking, research, and communication at home. You recognize the challenges that we have with our students, sometimes with the power of play. And so whether it's cooperative play or open-ended play, tonight we're going to discuss ideas and materials to support your exceptional learner. And since we're talking about play, we're going to use a game format. And so we have 10 Q&As that we'll go through, and then we're going to show you some examples of things that you could use in your home or in your environment to support your students and children with these goals. So question number 1, what are the benefits of play for all children? And the answer, play allows children to use their creativity while developing some really important skills: dexterity, physical strength, cognitive strength, and emotional strength. Play is essential for a healthy brain development, and students can create and explore their world. It enhances their confidence and resiliency, and they can discover and extend their interests. Even as adults, believe it or not, we like to play. It's just maybe not your conventional play. But you'll notice if you're ever sitting in a meeting, that tendency to want to fidget or, play with your pen, all of that kind of goes back to that natural instinct to be playful at various parts of your day. So question number 2, what about those social and emotional needs? So play is an integral element to the academic environment. It ensures that children or that the school setting supports the social and emotional development of children as well as those academic goals. It has been shown to help children adjust to the school setting and enhance their readiness skills, learning behaviors, and problem solving. And play and unscheduled time allows children to interact and really engage in those critical components of social and emotional learning. So if it's that important, why is play not happening as frequently as it used to, let's say maybe when we were children? And there's a lot of factors, and there's more than have been listed here, but obviously a hurried lifestyle is a challenge, changes in family structures, and then this increased intention and focus on those academics and enrichment activities. So what is the myth around play for gifted children? So sometimes it's assumed that gifted children need less play than others. Their intensity, introversion, and focused interests can be misinterpreted as evidence that they don't need time for play. So this stereotypical assumption of perfectionism or overachievement can create an expectation that their intellectual pursuits should take precedence over play-based opportunities. So question number 5. So if we know the myth, what does the research say about an early push in academics over or instead of play? So Diane Marie highlights the classroom changes that emphasize developmentally inappropriate performance-based goals rather than what children need. And these goals may not be effective. She cites 2 studies as examples that suggest that early emphasis on reading is unnecessary and fails to maintain long-term benefits. Both compared children who learned to read at 5 with limited play with those that learned at 7 and spent their early years in play-based activities. Those who learned to read later had better comprehension by age 11 because their play experiences improved their language development. All right, Audrey will take questions 6 through 10.
Yes. So question number 6, what are some reasons why it's argued that gifted children need play more than typically developing children? Well, the answer is that it serves the same purpose of growing that child, but it takes the pressure off. We know that gifted children thrive when they can be creative, invent things, and use their minds. Play can incite that love for learning and the discovery without the pressure that we know that those kids feel with, performance and achieving certain standards and making certain grades and conforming to rules. It just takes that pressure off. Question number 7, how does play support healthy peer relationships for gifted children? Well, it's the real world. Gifted children benefit from learning to cooperate with peers. They grow from learning to adapt with friends who are not gifted, and by meeting the challenge with the gifted peers. They learn important skills about social skills, managing anxiety, coping with competitive feelings, and what types of social interactions feel comfortable for them. Play gives them these real world experiences. Question number 8 is the big one. Why is failure important to gifted students, and how does play support that? As teachers, as parents, we don't want to see our kids fail, but all of us here have failed at one point in our lives or another. Gifted children develop a sense of mastery when they accomplish something challenging, and a demanding play situation may require more from them than they might experience in just an academic environment. So whether it's a computer game or a baseball field, gifted children develop and perspective. When they fail, they try again and maybe they'll succeed. It gives them skills that they would get beyond just academics. Question number 9, how does play help gifted students with stress or anxiety, especially in social situations? Well, our gifted and talented students are students now, but they're friends. They're going to be future husbands, wives, employees, and citizens in our community. And so we're building real people who can solve real social problems. Gifted children discharge stress through play, and they work through some of their skills of conflict resolution. Gifted children know that they have differences from their peers, and sometimes they struggle finding peers that think like them. So play can serve as an outlet for them if and when they ever feel isolated or alone. And our last question is question number 10. What does unstructured play look like? And we're going to show you some examples. Open-ended materials like loose parts encourage creativity and idea development. Problem-solving games are promoting patterns, logic, abstract problem-solving skills. We're going to show you some ideas for building areas with toy and real items that build on kids' interest in pre-engineering skills. We're going to show you ideas about art materials for creativity and expression, and dramatic play for role play, leadership, problem solving, and conflict resolution.
Unmute. Sorry, I have to stop sharing in order to unmute myself. All right. So loose parts, super exciting conversations around how everyday household and natural materials can serve as catalysts to play. When you use a predetermined toy or a game or an activity, all of the thinking has been done for the child. All the thinking was by generally the developer, right? If you give a child a figurine of a cow, well, that cow, they know what a cow is, they know where it lives, and so their imagination will only extend beyond their understanding of what a cow is and their interest around that. They will engage, but it'll be limited and closed-minded. Many landfills are filled with broken toys and recyclable materials that could be used in open-ended ways that allow children to explore, create, invent, and extend their imaginative and purposeful play or expression. Always ask, who's doing the thinking? There is a place for models and adult-led thinking, but play is a perfect opportunity to encourage our children to use higher level thinking skills when they build their own experiences and apply, analyze, deconstruct, construct, and expand their thinking to new ideas. In the world of gifted ed, you hear a lot of talk about Bloom's taxonomy, right? So thinking about starting from that remembering stage, moving to understanding, applying, analyzing, analysis, then evaluating and creating. Loose parts are not defined or fixed. They become anything. So loose parts require children to create the function, the purpose, and the role of those particular loose parts. It asks children to use their imagination, and it gives them permission to run free with their ideas. So what are open-ended materials? They have no set rules or directions. They're not age specific. Closed materials can be used for one purpose. Open-ended have endless possibilities. This asks the children to use their creativity, critical thinking, and problem solving as they build and explore their own ideas. They own their learning, and they're able to go into authentic higher order thinking. So for example, the cow example, if you give the child the cow, they go through the first 2 steps of Bloom's. They know the idea of farm, and they know that the plastic farm illustrates the idea of farm. If you gave them the cow, let's say, with a plastic barn. However, if you give the child or the student the materials to build, let's say, their own farm with materials of their choosing, the knowledge stage, they still know the idea of farm. They still bring their understanding experience of farm, but now they apply that knowledge to building a farm. They'll analyze it, reflecting on the farm that they built. They might expand the farm into new ideas and theories, and then looking at the resulting animal structure, they may decide to improve it, deconstruct it, and build it again, all anew and different. So just by providing some simple open-ended materials, you could see how that child could naturally run the course of Bloom's taxonomy. Logic games. These are games that not only teach you to play with others and get along, and some of those important social skills, such as what is a rule, concepts of rules, practice following them, taking turns, reason about moral problems. But when they play with more intellectually stimulating toys, such as these problem-solving games here noted, then they have an opportunity to detect patterns, plan ahead. I love these particular logic problems. As a kindergarten teacher, we provide a lot of the gifted ed opportunities in the classroom, and these were a staple in mine. They really encourage the children to predict the outcome of alternative moves, and they learn from experience. I actually found some of these challenging at times, and as I worked through some of the different puzzles, actually found myself kind of getting caught up in trying to figure out how to get the wolf to Red Riding Hood's house, or save the squirrels their nuts, those kinds of things. So play-based, but purposely planned. These specific games here teach spatial insight, problem solving, planning, and then logic problems.
Okay, next are blocks and building. Block play helps all children develop motor skills and learn about basic concepts of architecture and engineering. Block play also helps kids learn to work with others and gives them creative design opportunities. It has a great opportunity to embed real-life objects, such as blueprints, books about famous buildings, photos of real architectural pieces, cultural and historical landmarks, maps, and appliances. So here are some examples. The top left corner is what it might look like in a classroom. Just a lot of open-ended block things that kids can make things out of. And even just the Lego. We found a picture that just says Lego and the gifted visual spatial child. It's that open-ended piece that they can create whatever they want. And it might represent an actual landmark or architectural piece. The middle are just some open-ended blocks that could be found. So there's brain builders and straw bees and fort builders and magnet tiles and all of these things that give the children the power to be their own architect and their own engineer and come up with their own designs. I love the picture of on the far right, because this toaster, Barb, shared that she also had a child who was gifted and talented, and she would go to Goodwill and she would buy toasters and unworking appliances just so her child could use tools and take it apart and put it back together. And so giving children real objects is very powerful. The other one is arts and materials. The arts can strengthen all areas of oral and written communication, and for gifted students, provide more opportunities for creative problem solving and analytical thinking. It enhances critical thinking. So for example, while reading a story, students can draw, students can sketch, or students can paint whatever is most vivid for them, representing the book that they were reading. And lastly is dramatic play. Dramatic play contributes to children's cognitive development, to social skills, and emotional well-being. It is the foundation for children's earliest social relationships. It enhances the parent-child bond, and it lights the spark of creativity and passion. Students can explore new careers, they can design new spaces, and they elevate the academic rigor of their play space by having input on what is included or created in the space. And so kids, give input to what they need to represent their own play. So children lead the play in this area. So you can see, the middle picture is a cash register, but it says reception desk, and there's a computer. So maybe they are familiar with what that might look like at a doctor's office. And you can see other examples, a post office, a grocery store. And so giving children input into this dramatic play contributes to the whole child.
Sorry, one more time, I'm going to unmute. All right. right, so now we're going to take a minute and we're going to watch some play. This is actually from a workshop. You know, we're learners too. We're always trying to find out what's coming up and how we can improve our craft as we support teachers and students. And we just participated in a brain study workshop that talked about brain development, and it was, believe it or not, a lot was the focus was around this idea of play. And so I recorded a piece of this video, and we'll play it now. And this is a neuro psychologist showing us a video of a little boy playing. And there won't be any noise or any sound. Can you hear the sound or no? Okay. So this little guy is building some blocks in his classroom. And this is how early the brain development and all of these fantastic cognitive abilities start, even in a preschool classroom. You can see kids walking by, lots of distractions, but this child is determined. He's got mental flexibility. He's got working memory, showing what he's doing and then remembering, is this what I really wanted? He's showing some advanced planning. As an early childhood educator, I'm amazed at his focus with all of these children walking around. Show this video to a business Fortune 500 company. They may want to recruit this guy because of his focus and tenacity and problem-solving abilities. But he just doesn't give up. And this is unstructured play, open-ended play. Just constantly deconstructing and constructing till he gets where he wants. You can almost see his little brain going, uh-oh. He's so close. So as you can tell there's so much to learn just by observing this one particular child. The executive functioning that's emerging is just amazing. And this is through the eyes of a 3 or 4-year-old. And he's there. Ta-da! Wait. Well, he's not wanting to share yet. And there it is. That's reward in itself. The motivation was amazing. So we're going to just say thank you. That's really what we have for you today, and we'll stop sharing and see if you have any questions.
Elise shared in the Q&A, we play Settlers of Catan, Splendor, and Machi Koro, which have been family favorites. And then she also shared that the robot building kits are a big hit with the kids.
I will tell you, for me, the cardboard construction pieces that were shown there, and we actually created a list for Roxanne Brown of some things that we use. Again, as a kinder teacher, you know, part of our responsibility is making sure that we provide learning opportunities for all of our students. And I can tell you that anything that involved cardboard and those little inexpensive nuts and bolts and plastic tools was a fan fave. Just the fact that they could create and build and rebuild, and it and share their experiences went a long way.
So parents, while you're thinking, if you have a question, you can drop it in the Q&A. We actually have a list that Meredith is going to share. There it is. This is a list that was put together by Barbara and Audrey and the GT teachers across the district. And even the high school teachers contributed to it. So I'm not sure how wide our spread is tonight in parents, but there are items on the list that go from your preschool kids all the way up to your high school kids. And I can tell you, as a parent of one GT and one not GT, play has been very important in our house growing up. And we've played a lot of these games. We had the kitchen. I forgot about the kitchen till Audrey was showing the setup. We had like the little kitchen in our kitchen growing up for the boys to play with. But we've played many of these games. I wrote down a couple. We played Rush Hour. We had the junior version and the updated version. The kids had craft boxes growing up, paint, all those kinds of loose parts, building blocks. More Legos than I want to count and step on in the middle of the night. Some of you know what I'm talking about. We had on the list Genius Square, Sequence, and if you get Sequence, you can play with elementary all the way up to high school kids, like the littlest ones can understand Sequence. Quirkle. A teacher today told me about their GT kids at an elementary school playing Swish, which is a card game we put on here, but I haven't played with that one. At the end of the list, we did put some links to items that are like makerspace, kind of loose part items. Probably you have a lot of those laying around your house, but we wanted to make sure we included them on our list. So although these links are all to just Amazon, you can find these games at toy stores across San Antonio, Walmart, Target, other online sellers. I mean, you can find these toys all out there. And you can probably find some of those makerspace things if you look around in your junk drawer. That's where ours live. So does anybody else have any questions, Meredith, that have popped up? Somebody said there's a local tabletop board game store. Does anybody know the name of that store, Elise? Let's see if she'll drop that in.
One maybe called Dragon's Den, something like that. Dragon's Lair. There it is.
Oh,
okay.
There it is. Thank you, Elise. Dragon's Lair.
That's definitely one local game spot. And then Esther, I see you have your hand raised in the chat. If you could type your question into the chat box for us so we can get that taken care of.
Heroes Retreat, somebody wrote down, and then the Printed Meeple is another good one. I'm not aware of those stores, but great. The more info we have to share, the better. So maybe this will, in doing this, we kind of thought this might give you some ideas for maybe some ideas for the holidays that are coming up. If you are looking for some options and trying to think about what might be a good idea for your little ones, or, you know, maybe you have some multiple grade levels that could share a gift. So if we don't have any more questions, I want to thank Barbara and Audrey for their time. I really appreciate, this has been something I think play is so important, and it's been a topic that I've wanted to address in a meeting such as this. So I really appreciate them coming tonight and sharing their time and putting its presentation together for us. So thank you, Barbara and Audrey. I'm clapping for you since you can't hear everybody out there. And I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Danny.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Good night.
Yes, ladies, thank you so much for sharing your experience with us and your knowledge. I'm a big fan of play myself with with my children, and a big fan of early childhood education. My mother's a retired preschool teacher, 2-year-old preschool teacher, so I understand how critical it can be in that role. Probably the best part about becoming a parent is you can vicariously continue to play through your children. The elaborate collection of Legos and Hot Wheels my girls have has been a lot of fun to build for them. So I definitely be a lifelong player. Get out there, not just with your children, but continue to learn through that as you grow. So thank you, ladies, for sharing that with us. That's been amazing. I think we had a few announcements. We're still putting some things together for our agenda for the year. We haven't been able to lock down our walkathon dates yet, so keep an eye out for that. We may be looking for another fundraising opportunity through Amazon Smiles, but when that comes together, we'll be putting that out through social media. So keep an eye out for that. But fundamentally, I just want to reemphasize to everybody that this is a place where we get to come together as GT. A lot of times when you're a parent or a GT student, that can feel kind of isolating from a personal experience. But it's important to remember there's thousands of us just within our own district. And this is a place where we get to come together and as a community experience and learn about GT. So I appreciate everybody's time and coming and being with us tonight. Again, I always emphasize that we're here to help you guys. So if there's ever anything you guys need from a community perspective, go and if you need help with something, just ask. Start with your local school. If there's anything beyond that you need, just reach out to the board or Roxanne, and we'll see what we can do. Roxanne at the district level, but we're here to help. There's a lot of resources available. If you get stuck, you're not alone. There's a community of people just like you going through the same experience. So thank you for spending your time with us this evening, and I hope you guys have a nice, safe week. Thank you.
Thanks so much. And I want to say one last thing. Somebody asked about the toy list. We will make sure that the teachers have the toy list so that they can share it in their newsletter or whatever, so that the toy list is out there. So if you don't get the link tonight, your GT teacher will have it. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.